So I just got the new Spikeball Mammoth net last night, and I just wanted to share some of my initial thoughts with you guys. So here it is. Is the, oh shoot, sorry, no, just kidding, that's a trampoline. Here is our Mammoth. This freaking giganto thing right here. And here is the new ball as well. So, initial thoughts on it. It really is quite large. I think it's about 12 inches tall, as well as just a slightly wider. The net itself is about the same diameter, but it has this kind of overhang that you can see that comes out maybe 3 or 4 inches or so. The box that it came in is enormous. So here is the box of this bad boy here. It says that it includes a Mammoth frame, a true fit spider net, a Mav1 ball, a smuggler bag, and Mammoth feet. The name's kind of silly. I'm not sure why they went through the issue or the trouble of trademarking all those. Kind of odd, especially Mammoth feet. And if you're actually talking about what it's talking about with the Mammoth feet that they trademarked, the Mammoth feet are just, so they went through the issue of trademarking this. That's the Mammoth foot. It's just a screw with a piece of rubber on it. So that's kind of silly to trademark that. Trademarked. Let's talk about the ball, right? So it comes with 2 wonderful Pro balls, which are deformed as ever. And then 1 single Mav1 ball, which I guess is why they call it Mav1, because you only get one of them and screw you. So here is the ball in comparison to the other ball. It is a more foamy, rubbery, weird texture. I don't know how to even explain it. Tell me how perfectly round these are and really professional looking. Definitely can't see any of the seams differently compared to the other sides. So with the ball, it weighs about the same as a Premier Spikeball, which is both a little bit heavier than the regular Pro ball. It is fine. I mean, it's definitely different and it'll take some getting used to. And it's not bad necessarily, it's just different. I do think it's better in terms of the potential consistency of the ball for the internal pressure. As it is, you know, the regular Pro ball, if you leave it in your car on a hot day, it will be ballooned and basically ruined. That shouldn't be an issue with these new Mammoth balls because of the internal bladder and the kind of just thicker core, or external core. That is a little bit thicker. Shouldn't be much of an issue, but again, haven't used it, so I can't be sure. Additionally, the ball is just so padded and different. Setting will be dramatically different. Here is a candid first time setting with the ball. I've played for years and years and years, and I will try and just be setting how I normally will set onto the Premier Spikeball. You know, same sort of situation. I know what it will feel like when it hits parts of my hand. And then here with the new ball, and it is just like clinging to my hand with every touch. And it really takes a lot more carrying the ball with just about every single one of those for it to go anywhere. Again, is different. It'll require a bit more of intentional carrying of the ball because it just doesn't bounce off your hand. I have concerns on the whole concept of body defense. With a regular rubbery ball, it'll bounce off of your body, so particularly off the bonier parts. So if it hits off your like wrist or your hand or your knee or your shin or something like that, it bounces a lot just because of the elastic nature of the rubber ball. This ball will just dampen and die pretty much off the body. Like it's not gonna bounce off and fly up in the air for its chance for a double touch. Those are gonna be probably few and far between. So body defense, I like body defense. I think I'm concerned about where that's gonna go. In terms of like long balls and short balls, I think this will be better for that. But body defense, I don't imagine will work super duper well. Additionally, for serving, serving with this, you are gonna have a much more difficult time getting spin on this ball. You can't really kind of grip it and carry it like you can with a regular ball. You could probably do it, but it's not gonna generate the same amount of spin as you can with a regular Pro ball. So is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing that there will be less spin on the ball, less ability to cut, reverse cut, all those kind of things? Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? I don't know. It's a thing, but it will be different for sure on this. And that's not even counting the net itself. That's just the ball. One other thing briefly with these, I don't know if it was from the net, if it was from the ball, but I'm already getting dirty hands, just straight off the box. You can see pinky, see palm of my hand. I'm not sure what that's about. Then we have this behemoth of a bag, which is hilarious to look at on a human being. It does seem like it's potentially waterproof with the kind of internal lining here. It does look like it's potentially waterproof. It's got a side pocket here, which is pretty large, and it's got a side zipper here. But the inside of the bag is purely just the inside of the bag, and there's no internal zippers or anything like that. Now let's talk about the net itself. So it is, as advertised, enormous. However, that doesn't really indicate the thickness or quality of it, which I'm a little bit concerned of. So it looks so big, looks so heavy. It is big and heavy, but it's not very thick. So these legs are essentially like hollow, and I have some concern on that. The rims itself, the part that makes the ring, is a little bit sturdier, a little bit thicker, but the rest of it is very thin and seemingly pretty fragile. Like you can see, it gives a little bit when pushed on. And I think if somebody were to step on that with a cleat, that's probably not great. Picking this thing up, it is freaking mondo. So realistically, if somebody were to host a tournament or, you know, just have multiple of these, you can only really carry 2 of them at the same time. Versus these other nets, I can carry up to 8 at the same time, if not even more than that. That's just what I had right now. And they can all fit in my trunk of my car too. And I have a tiny little baby car. So these guys, the convenience factor is minimal. Even if it's in the smuggler bag, I could hardly probably fit many of them in my car compared to how many other nets I could carry. Overall, the build quality of this, you can see some minor little scuffs, some little paint marks already. And again, I just took it out of the box and put it together, and that's it. As well as, since this is one of the first 1,000 Mammoths that was produced, we have this crazy, super cool, limited edition, tiny freaking little insignia. That's the entire difference between being one of the first 1,000 people and any other person in the world. Sick. Number 982, let's go. Here is putting together the net. It is pretty straightforward, nothing really complex or complicated. You know, it takes a minute to put together, so that's pretty good. The netting is pretty easy to hook on to each of these latches. And there's one per little area, so that's nice that you don't have to make the star shape and then kind of just screw around to figure it out until it's nice enough. It's just 1-to-1, you're done. The concept is great. You know, with the issues with the other nets, there can be so much net-to-net variability in tension, in tightness, in how far you stretch it, all that kind of stuff. The concept of this is great because, like I said, it's 1-to-1. You know, every single notch has a loop to go onto it. And the netting should theoretically be the same for everybody. There is also this thing that kind of goes against that though, is there's a tightening sort of loop that you can pull on. Be freaking careful with this. It sucks. Okay, so I tried to tighten it, and the very first time I tried to tighten it, it came right off. And then I had to spend a solid 15 minutes with a needle nose plier to get this stupid thing back on. And you can see it kind of broke a little bit. So haven't played with this net yet and already breaking it. Love it. Anyways, back to the tension of this. It's not tight. That doesn't mean it's good, that doesn't mean it's bad, but that is a thing again. That is different. So you can see the drop test here, and it is just totally different. So yeah, otherwise I don't have a whole lot of other things to say about it. You know, I haven't used it yet, so it's hard to really make a judgment call on it. I think it'll be very similar to Revol, where it's a fun thing to play. I actually have a very good time playing Revol. It's like super rally balls. Serving is much less of an issue, and it's just kind of a fun time. But it doesn't feel the same. It's not the same sort of competitive nature that I feel while playing regular round net with a pro net or a premier net spike net, where rallies are kind of few and far between, but they feel like something. There's something about hitting a ball, ripping a ball on a nice, tight premier spike net or pro net and being able to put them away that feels satisfying. Versus on a Revol net, you can't really put a single thing away. And I think that'll be pretty similar with this net from what I can tell. It is very difficult to actually hit the ball hard. Whether it's a pro ball or a premier spike ball or the Mammoth ball particularly, on this net with the loose tension on it, it's not gonna go anywhere. So it will really make long ball defense much shorter, much closer. So rundowns will be not from as far away. And then body defense, I think, is gonna be significantly impacted. We'll just kind of have to see how that plays out with it. Who knows? So I will be very interested to play with this and report back as to my thoughts of the actual gameplay. So that's about all I got there. And then to those of you who are on the VIP list, thank you very much for helping make this a little bit less scary on my bank account. And then if I haven't reached out to you yet, we will play soon on this and give it a few goes. Otherwise,
pressing out.
Oh, first of all, that's way different.
yeah, and then that's that ball.
Oh.